You there, JT?
I'm here.
Okay. What's up, everybody?
Hello. How y'all doing? It's just us guys, and we're here to talk and visit. And first of all, if you're diabetic, don't play games. Okay? Take your medicine, follow your diet, and get exercise. Now, damn it, I'm getting coughs already. The reason I say this is because I've known a
Hey,
lot of
whiskey.
people that didn't do it. Hey, Chrissy Sue. Hey, sunshine, how you doing? You gonna come to drop me? I promise I'm not gonna drop
Hey,
you.
Christy.
Anyhow, if you're diabetic, don't play games. Take your medicine, follow your diet, get exercise. Why do I say this? Because I knew a lady firsthand, and she's very dear to me, and she lived into her 90s before she died. And when she died of natural causes. Okay, so don't play games with that. And I don't care who you are. Um, Matt, Matty from Backwoods Mindset, he's going to be doing some shows on it more. I can only speak about what I know firsthand on it, and I do not have diabetes, so I don't know as much as Matty does. Him and his daughter both have it, but I do know from what I've seen other people do. They were playing games, and when you got diabetes and you're playing games with your medicine and stuff, you're playing Russian roulette. Okay, and that's not cool. Um, anyhow, the other PSA that we're going to do is if you're being abused, get help. Get help and get the hate out of there. All right? It's not worth it. Um, if you are a guy and you're being abused, yeah, it does happen. I know. It does happen. I know it does. Um, get away from him. Get away from the lady. If you have to call police, do so. Press charges, you know. Um, if you're a woman, get away from him. Get away from the abuser, okay? If you're a child, tell somebody. If you're somebody that's seeing a friend show up with marks on, bruises on, um, I don't care if it's a guy or a girl, or even a child, speak up about it. Do not turn a blind eye to it, because if you're turning a blind eye to somebody being abused, then you're okay in it. You're saying it's okay. No, it's not. It's not okay. And furthermore, a person being abused, getting out of it can depend on life or death, you know? So, yeah, but whiskey, at least they let us live. I mean, the kind of abuse I'm talking about, physical, verbal, mental, you know. Um, when an abuser starts telling you can't have contact with others, they're isolating you because they want to keep others from finding out what they're doing to you. So that way you don't have
Yep.
any choice. They want to keep you from talking to people or others from talking to you. Okay? But when you end up being killed, then it's too late. That's why we're doing this. Okay? To wake people up. To say, hey, it's not okay. And it's got to stop. You know, if the abuser kills somebody, hopefully they end up in jail, in prison. for murdering the person that they beat to death. If there's children involved, the abuser just murdered their parent. Well, guess what? If that child or children's with that abuser, the abuser just made their children, parents less. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, yeah, don't play games. If you know somebody, get them help. Try to figure out a way to get them out of the situation safely. And go into a shelter. That'll just help you for a little while. Some places don't even have shelter, don't have help for abused people. That makes it even harder. But getting the hate out of the situation is priceless. And yeah, it's scary. I'll admit. I know it's scary. You don't know what you're going to do. You don't know how you're going to do it. You got to think and figure it out fast.
But another thing is still too the way it's changed legally. People can interfere even if they're immediate family, because the police, law enforcement won't interfere until tragically, unfortunately, there's a death. Other than that, the husband or the wife can continue to be abusive as long as the spouse or that other doesn't report them. And you got to encourage people to step up and report the abuse too, because other than
Right.
that, law enforcement can't step in until, like I said, there's a
Well,
death.
abusers end up with having, usually as a rule of thumb, a track record of every time they get called, the police get called on them. The police do keep track of it. And in some states, they become known as habitual offenders of abuse. And after so many of them, the states, they don't play games with them anymore. But here's the thing: if an abuser kills somebody beats them to death, whatever, that becomes murder. No time limit on a murder charge. So, you know,
Also,
if you
though,
know
it depends
somebody,
on the state.
don't turn your blind eye to it. Help them. Help them get out so that they're alive to talk about tomorrow. You know.
It all depends on the state, though, because California, you can get away with murder.
Yeah, but you can't
New York,
most of the other
Chicago.
ones. You can't most of the other ones.
Oh yeah, you can. Here in California, you can. That's what I'm saying. It depends on the state.
Right, but what I'm saying also is in other states you can't.
That's what I'm
Murder
saying.
does
It
not.
depends on the state, though. It depends on the state. That's the
It
problem
also
with
depends
our
on
legal
who.
system.
It also depends on who you are. If
Well, of
you're
course it
if
does.
your mommy and daddy have power, well then they'll just buy your way out. Well, guess what? That don't always happen either, because that just means that they're accomplices to the crime.
That's why a lot of people don't help people. It's
And
because, oh well, legally I
accomplice
can. It's like, well,
accomplices can be charged, even
yeah,
if you
yeah,
know of a
exactly.
even if you know about a situation, let's say a crime. Okay, you get told, the people that done the crime tell you. Okay, you
You're an
know
accessory or an
you're an
accomplice.
accessory. You're an accessory to the facts. They call you
Yep.
as an accessory to the facts. That means they told you you should speak up about it because you didn't. You're just guilty as those that done it.
Yeah.
So, don't turn a blind eye to somebody that you know that is being abused. I don't care if you don't like that person that's being abused. Do not turn your
Well, that's the
blind
reason
eye
why.
to it.
That's why I brought up this the how each state handles these things, because even if your state says, "Oh well, yeah, it's the first time murdering somebody," well, murder is murder. I mean, killing someone's killing someone, and even if the law says you can't do anything, you should do anything. You should do something anyways, because that's the right thing to do. Just do the right thing, even if man's law says you shouldn't, but inside you you should. You should go with that. I mean, it's the moral thing to do. You can't just be,
Uh,
oh, because my law, my state law, my law. That's not your law. Your law, man's law is not our law. I mean, we don't. If the law says to kill five people for you to stay alive, you're gonna follow that law, even though it's wrong. That's the problem with the legal system these days. It's corrupt. It's messed up. It's backwards. So just do the right thing. That's pretty much what the message is. Just do the right thing, even if someone's telling you it's not the right thing. If you believe it's the right thing, then do it. And if you hear
it's
that
better.
voice, save that person, help that person, then do it. But do it
Yeah,
cautiously too, because it depends on the situation. Always be cautious.
your gut instinct's gonna tell you what's right, what's not right.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's called common sense. But anyhow, we thought we would bring those two taboos out into the open. You know, um, people with diabetes, I have nothing against any of them. And how do I know that somebody can live until their late 90s in life? That's easy. That lady I knew, that was my grandma. And other people that I knew that played games over it, they were friends and people you know, and acquaintances that I knew of. And I don't believe in playing games. To me, that's Russian roulette. There's no reason for it. So, it's just how it is. Yeah, we started to show off heavy in a heavy situation. We know, but bright side is to all of this: no loitering, old man. Where there's 6 weeks until spring, and this year you better be agreeing and on board because I know a lot of people. They're done tired of this winter stuff. Just done tired of it. The East Coast, man. I don't know how long it's going to take them people to get dug out. Some of them got over 3 feet of snow. You know,
Shoot, even Florida's getting their share, and that's a tropical climate.
Florida's got down to the yeah down to the 20s. And you'll be hearing about the oranges and the grapefruits and all of that, those kind of foods. Because they're getting hit with the cold. So that's
Yep.
never good. But you know, it's wintertime. And I know, like, Cape Cod, Will Grow lives there, and he said it was like 10, 15 years since the last time they gotten that much snow. So, yeah. Um, the East Coast have not, they don't get snow like this, you know. Usually, that's our area that gets that kind of stuff. And then they got the 70 plus mile an hour winds, 80 plus mile an hour winds. You guys, guess what? I know what that's like, okay? We've been getting hit with them all winter long, and we don't normally get hit with winds that high. I don't know how much we got, but the winds blew it around so much it had drifts pretty high. Yeah, whiskey and sunshine. They're like up in Maine. They like making their maple syrups and stuff, and yeah, they got nailed with it too. I mean, that stuff is it was a bad situation, you know. Um, those people aren't used to it. I mean, Maine gets snow. Don't get me wrong, Maine does get snow and stuff like that, but Cape Cod, um, Connecticut, Maryland, your coastal towns, they don't usually get. that kind of stuff because they're on the coast and it's warmer. But not this year. They got nailed with it bad. You know,
Yep.
the sugar maple trees, their sugar ain't gonna be running so fast this year. And it's about that time of the year for the sugar maples to start doing their humming and singing to start making the maple syrup. Unless I'm wrong, and if I'm wrong, whiskey and sunshine, y'all tell me. You know, I won't get upset. Tell me I'm a nut and everything, but that's okay. But I've got an excuse if I'm a nut because it's because sunshine kept dropping me on my head. Scott's out plowing it right now. I think a foot, almost a foot for us. Wow, you got lucky. I mean, yeah, 12 inches, that's still a lot of snow,
Yeah.
but, you know, you, that's lucky because, like, Will It Grow, he got like 30 inches, you know.
Jeez.
Yeah, 6 more inches and he had 3 feet. And, Corkies, they, they're not good for measuring how deep the snow is, okay? Just saying. Danny had to go out and get their, their little Corky out of the snowdrift. She couldn't get out. She couldn't get back in. She walked out and went down. Thoom. For the trees to produce sap, snap, sap, It needs warm days, below zero, and cold nights. Oh, warm days above zero, and cold nights. Yeah, okay. I knew that it had to be a certain way, but around here we call that springtime. You don't have freezing sub-zero temperatures or sub-zero wind chills during the day or at night. You know, it's like 35 degrees, maybe 40, you know, and nighttime lows can be 32, something like that, 33 for nighttime lows. But you ain't got freezing going down. The coast will lose it. The coast will lose it quickly. No, the coast, so sorry. The salt air will eat it up. Yep, we don't get that. We're in the middle of nowhere. We have cornfields on the right of us, soybeans on the left of us, and we're stuck in the middle again. But yeah, however, it's that time of the year, and as of Tuesday, 6 more weeks or only 6 weeks until spring. Don't believe me? Look up March 21st on your calendar. It will say first day of spring. Yeah, stuck in the middle with you. Yep. Um. Now, I'm hoping Old Man Winter is a polite gentleman this year and just gladly moseys away and lets spring come so the sunshine can shine in and then we can all jump around and sing in the year of Aquarius, the year of Aquarius, Aquarius, let the sun shine in. Oh, let the sun shine in, let the sun shine in. You know, that was actually how it went too. But I wasted it. Aquarius wasn't even here to hear it. How sad. You know. Anyhow, but yeah, because I'm a itching to get outside. I'm a itching to get making stuff and planting stuff and growing stuff. and doing the hoedown in the garden. Yeah, standing on your head, pulling the weeds. Yep. See what little tricks the gophers came up to delight me with over the winter this year. Oh, sorry about that. But yeah, I know a lot of people are. And shh, sunshine. We're not supposed to age ourselves. But that's okay, because I had to tell y'all, when those songs came out originally, they were kick butt songs. You know, they were good songs. You know, I mean, they were relaxing and they were fun to listen to and dance to and stuff. But who am I to know these songs? You know, it's just one of those hee haw time of things. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, hee haw. Oh wait, that's from It's a Wonderful Life. The
He
heck?
hawing.
Yeah. Okay, it's not me giving feedback.
What?
Hee Haw was one of the characters, one of George's friends. Now went to school, started a plastic factory, offered George a job. George turned him down. And George got married to Mary. Mary George lassoed the moon and gave it to Mary, and Mary told George lassoed the moon and the stock was coming. And they started having babies. Oh shoot, gotta go. Big guy needs me. Okay, you go help Whiskey.
All right, later, whiskey or sunshine.
We'll see you soon, sunshine. But yeah, if you pay attention to It's a Wonderful Life, you'll know who Hee Haw is. Because Hee Haw is who Mary's mom wanted Mary to marry. But Mary wasn't interested in Hee Haw in that way. She was in love with George. So, yeah. Anyhow, it's a long day at the office. That's all I can say. I am so glad that a lot of people, that got hit are okay. You know, a lot of them lost their electricity and stuff, but I'm glad that they're okay. They got their power back on and they're functioning again. You know, um, the worst is gone and over as far as that storm goes, and I guess there's supposed to be another one coming, and this one's supposed to hit the middle of the country. So I'll have to wait to find out where the middle of the country is it's going to hit and then where's it going to go, you know, because I'm done. I've had my fill. If you don't have snow for Christmas, then the heck with it. You don't need snow. That's how I look at it because I'm just to that point, you know. Anymore, it's too cold for kids to go outside and play in the snow because you don't want kids going out in sub-zero temperatures to play in the snow. I mean, were younger, and when I say you guys, I mean like God's Night and Christy Sue and people born in that time in the 80s, the winters were warmer. It would snow, and then after the snowstorm was gone, it was warm. You could bundle your kids up. You could go outside. You could make snowmen and snow forts and have snowball fights. It was warm.
Yep.
Now you got a snowstorm. You've got 70, 60, 70 plus mile an hour winds, and it don't warm up. It goes right into sub-zero temperatures, sub-zero wind chills, and you can't go outside.
Imagine that though, right? It's like as if the northern, I don't know, I guess the northern environment is moving south. There's a shift. Hmm.
Yeah, that global warming. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly, global warming because your
It's
winters are
so
warm hotter.
warm. It's so warm. The sub-zero temperatures and sub-zero wind chills don't leave. Just saying. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
2007. Yeah, the winter of 2007. It was sub-zero temperatures every day for 5 months. It was 1 day a month. 1 day a month that was warm. Warm enough that it was above sub-zero temperatures, sub-zero wind chills. 1 day every month. On one hand, I could tell people how many times I've been out of the house in that temperature or that winter. They looked at me, they kind of laughed. They says, "Well, we haven't had that many warm days." I said, "I know. That's why I can tell you exactly how many times I've been out of this house this winter. Because that 1 day every month was when we decided we'd go to town and get our supplies. It was only 5 times that winter. And winter started before Thanksgiving. Because Thanksgiving you had sub-zero temperatures, sub-zero wind chills. Christmas you had it. January you had it. February you had it. March you had it. And then April it stopped and it started warming up. And we had a lot of snow, but that was a El Nino winter, you know. And they want to say La Nina. Well, guess what, people? When you have a La Nina winter, you don't get hardly any snow. You don't get the sub-zero temperatures. Mm-mm. No, you don't get the sub-zero wind chills either. It's a warm winter. So, yeah, when the weatherman started flipping on El Nino and La Nina, there's a big. First of all, they make these names up for everything, you know. A vortex. Well, a vortex is a tornado or a cyclone. It's either sucking something up, out. Okay, like a tornado, it sucks stuff up and out. The tornado spins around, yeah. But it sucks stuff up in it and out. Okay, and a whirlpool that spins around. It sucks stuff in and down. Okay, those are the only two directions they can go.
Yeah, one's a vacuum cleaner, the other one's a flushing toilet.
Yep, take your pick. That's it.
That's it.
Now, when the weathermen say, "Oh, we got a polar vortex," no, no, the wind ain't turning around in a circle and coming down to Florida. It's
Right.
just coming down to Florida, okay? Now, I ain't saying that if the Canadians would shut the north door, to the a tundra or whatever they call that up there, that might help. But yeah, and if they don't want to shut the north door, then they can shut the southern door so that the cold air don't come down here to me. Okay, that would be nice, but I'm not being mean or anything. I like my Canadian friends. You know, I just wish that somebody up there would start shutting that door. They've got a problem. You know, Canada is standing up against the truckers. Yeah, the truckers I gotta say it the right way. The truckers up in Canada are standing up to the BS of the thing in your arm and saying, nope, nope. We're the fearless leader, with the dancing eyebrows. Um, he's in hiding. Okay, first of all, supposedly he had the virus, and then he supposedly got the things in the arms with the booster, you know, and supposedly now he's in hiding because of the thing he got the shot in the booster for that he supposedly already had. He's not very good at not telling the truth now, is he? You know what that guy's afraid of? He's afraid to face the truckers, which are people that he works for. Yeah, he works for the people of Canada. And the Canadian truckers are people of Canada, you know? So people in Canada aren't afraid to say, hey, we ain't taking it no more, you know? So more people do that, who knows?
It's gonna take more people.
Yeah,
I mean, close to 200,000 people is a good chunk of people, but that's still a fraction of their nation.
right.
It's gonna take millions,
Yep,
but at least they got the ball rolling. That's what matters.
exactly.
That's where it counts to a point. But yeah, I mean, it
And
sends a message.
how many people are stupid enough to go up to somebody in a semi and start picking on them? First of all, do you realize how big a semi tractor is? Yeah, the guys are bobcatting. That means they're not taking their trailer with them. Okay? So you got the tractor of the semi. That's the cab part, in case you don't know. And they sit way up high. Them semi tractors are so big that it ain't funny. They can a semi tractor can go up over cars
Yeah.
real easy. Okay? And not even know if they hit a bump in the road. Um, they got a lot of power. They do not. They cannot stop them tractors on a dime when they've got a full load on their butt. When they're hooked up to the trailer. They can't stop them things on a dime. A lot of people in little bitty cars and minivans and turnovers. Aren't they called turnovers? I don't know. I don't have a vehicle, so you know. But and it's because I choose not to. Okay. But a lot of people in these other vehicles, they think, oh, that semi can stop on a dime. Guess what? No, it can't. Not only that, if you're in such a big rush that you're going to put yourself, your vehicle, possibly your kids in danger because of your stupidity choice. Because, oh, I have the right of way to get right up there. Well, guess what? That semi in the lane next to you, they have to they have to make wider turns to make that corner. Okay, so if they hit your vehicle It's not really the trucker's fault. It's yours. Why? Because you just had to butt your way through. And you were going to bulldoze your way through with that little bitty vehicle of yours. Well, that semi driver didn't do anything wrong. He stayed in his lane. You know, you did not give him enough room. That is your fault. You know.
Yep, I agree.
Hey,
Hey,
Squirrel
squirrel.
Magnet, how you doing? Um, I mean, common sense. All right, if you ain't got none, come visit me. I'll give you a bunch of common sense. Okay? Um, what was it they used to say? So and so ain't got a lick of common sense. Well, they need to come over and have a talk with me in a 2x4. We can knock some common sense into them real fast. That was an old saying, people.
Yeah, that was for people back then. Now
Yeah,
it's gonna take something different, if even that.
I don't even know if the whole forest of the giant redwood trees would do any good to smack them with.
Exactly.
you know, Squirrel, aren't you glad you came to my show today? But you know, yeah, we're joking about we would not hit nobody with anything. But common sense, come on, y'all. Everybody's got common sense. And I feel sorry for you if you went to school and your teacher forgot to teach you how to use common sense. Because that's your teachers failing your children, okay? Teachers don't like it when somebody old has young kids and the old person makes more sense than what the young teacher does. Why? Because the old person knows how to use common sense and beat the hell out of it without touching them. You know? I mean, it's sad. It's sad because the teachers don't have common sense. You know? Not all of them, some of them. But yeah. And the teachers that aren't teaching the kids to think for themselves and have common sense and listen to their little voice inside of them, they're letting those children down big time. It's okay to think for yourself, guys. You know, the best inventors were not high school dropouts and college people, or high school dropouts. They weren't. High, let me rephrase this. They weren't high school graduates, and they weren't college graduates. They were. They really didn't drop out of high school. Why? Because they never got to high school. They were lucky if they got fourth to eighth grade knowledge, and yet they were inventing things. Okay, a lot of them they didn't know how to read and write even. You know, but they could invent things that worked, made things a little bit easier for other people. And depending on who they were, depends on if the big companies wanted to buy them out or just ruin their lives. Just shut them up. You know, but that's how they done things back in the day. People had common sense. Something wasn't right. They spoke up and said, heck no, that ain't right. We ain't going to do that. We're not going to take that. Nope. No way. No, thank you. It's just the way it was, you know? But, yeah, I mean, you can't get upset, but you got your common sense. And your common sense, if you really know how to use it, it ain't going to steer you wrong, you know?
Nope, it will not. In fact, it's gonna piss a lot of people off because they can't understand why you're not just standing there like a deer in headlights.
Right? They also can't figure out why, um, you're not going with the flow and doing like everybody else. How dare you have How dare you be so brave that you can stand up and say, no, thank you. No,
Yeah.
not happening
How
here.
dare you know how to make a garden, get a garden going or repair your house or your vehicle. How dare you do that yourself? You're supposed to go to a mechanic shop, and get it done that way.
Although some mechanic shops don't fix your vehicles either, they screw and they rip you off on money sometimes, you know? Just saying. It's better to know how to do things yourself. It's just the way it is. I mean,
Yeah.
back in the day, that's how people done things, you know? Um, Mom made what she could, do what she did, and Pa, he made things too. If he needed a ring for a barrel, well, he knew how to make them barrels, so he had to know how to make the rings to hold the barrel together, you know. Or let's say he needed a wagon wheel. He had to know the different types of wood that was used for what part to make the wheel, and then how to take the ring and make it go over the wood and stay on. That was a process and a half by itself. And they had to sit and make each piece of the wood of the wheel by hand. They didn't have power
Yep.
tools to the rescue. You know, they had to sit and they had to
Nope.
work and make each part to that wheel by hand. Just like grandma's china hutch. No, not the veneered stuff. I mean the old oak furniture, the heavy old oak that was actual wood, not pressed together, not glued together particle, but old fashioned wood. Because, yeah, they used to, they saw their lumber. Well, they could make their wood as wide as, a piece of one plank of wood, okay? As wide as what they wanted, or as cut it up into different if they wanted to, you know. You don't get most of your wood you can't get as wide as what they used to make wood. A board of wood. Can't get them that wide anymore. You have to specially order them that way. And that's sad,
Yep.
you know.
No more quality.
I mean, most people don't know that you can saw.
Yeah, we're talking about last Sunday. It's a throwaway society now.
Yeah,
Nothing lasts.
yep. Nothing. Nobody has pride in making in the pride of their work anymore because it's all we either do it quick or get fast, instant gratifications, or else we're not doing it. Well, that's fine. Let me know how that works for you. Should you say not have gas, natural gas for your house? We'll take away the electricity too. All right. Oh, you still got your gas powered this and your gas powered that. No, you don't. We took that gas away from you too. Now, in exchange for all of that stuff, we're going to give you two shovels and a garden rake, and we're going to tell you you have to flip over every spot of your garden by hand with them two shovels, and then use the rake to bust up the clumps of dirt with your shovels. You can use your shovels too, but you gotta use your rake to level it back out so you can plant your garden. Would you be willing to do it? No, 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 you can't. You don't get to get your little lawnmower out with the attachments hooked up behind it. No, that don't work anymore. Remember, we took the gas from you. Well, we didn't. the powers to be did. Would you be willing to do that? Because all that stuff is just convenience. Yeah, it
Yep.
speeds it up, but in making things convenient, everybody's lost touch with enjoying the simple things in life. You know, if you have a problem, do something the old way. It'll slow you down. Oh yeah, yeah. It'll take longer to make. Yeah, but it also gives you time to think out your problem that you've got
Yeah, another
while
thing
you're
that
making
gets
something.
overlooked is working with your land barehanded and stuff. You know, getting your hands dirty in there in the dirt and stuff. Your skin is actual. Now it's not so good, but then your skin was absorbing the minerals and stuff that was in that dirt. So people were healthier back then, not just from the labor, the physical labor, but what the land had and when they interacted with the land, because
Yeah,
that soil has a lot of minerals.
they didn't have to worry about getting their hands cut on glass and shard metals and stuff
Exactly.
like that.
Now
And
our
every
now our a lot of our soil is just contaminated.
and every one of their meals was cooked in a cast iron pan. Think about it. You know, I cannot wait. I cannot wait until I get to start making growing stuff in my garden. Having fun outside, fresh air, sunshine. Ooh, there we go again. Let the sunshine in. Oh yeah, let the sunshine in. Just let that sun shine in. I mean, working up sweat, playing in the garden. Yeehaw. Yep, that sounds like a fun thing to do. And
Yep. Oh yeah.
I can't wait to do it. You know, we'll take the picnic table. We will. We'll take the picnic table. We'll take the canopy, put it right out, take them right down by the garden, set them up so we can sit down and take breaks at the picnic table while we're doing what we got to do in the garden. We don't care.
In the garden.
And when we get done in the garden, we haul off and we bring that stuff back up to the house. Okay? Why? It's fun. You take a jug of water out, sit on the picnic table, drink the water, do your work, sit and take breaks at the picnic table. Look up and somebody's got sweat and dirt all over their face, but hey, we don't care. We're still having fun, you know? And I can't wait. I can't wait to do it. So,
Freaking pop ups.
huh?
What?
What did you say?
Pop
I,
tarts.
uh-huh.
I said, oh,
We-
Pop tarts.
uh-huh. It's okay. We're not going to tell you what you really said. But it's okay. What flavor were those Pop Tarts?
Yeah, I corrected it. I said, oh, Pop tarts.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy. O's in a lot of ways. But don't mind us. You know, it's been one of those weeks for everybody all the way around. Things seem to be going good, and then you get curveballs here, you get curveballs there, and then you're like,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
And when you get past the curveballs, then you get to chuckle and giggle and wiggle a little bit, you know. But yeah, I'm really itching to be outside working in my garden, making things, doing things, driving people crazy again. You know, they're suffering.
Yeah, you get to watch TV being outside again. See what's new.
Yeah, we have a TV set in the backyard, a TV set in the front yard. The
Yep.
winter version of the television, the screen kind of got pulled out and kind of sags down unless the wind catches it. Then it'll stand it back up again.
Yeah, it took a
But
beating.
yeah, it still could be, but it's still there, which is funny. So we're waiting to see how much is still hanging up when springtime comes. You know, because man, that was crazy. And we started getting those winds in October already. You know, which is nuts. And we've gotten them ever since, which is really nuts. You know, but who knows? I'm just hoping that it does pretty good this year. You know, no bad storms any place or anything like that. You know, so boy, nobody wants to talk. We have one person left watching. Jeez.
Yeah.
But
It's all right. They'll probably end up.
the bright side is Homestead Aquarius is feeling better. You
That's
know,
good.
um, so that yeah, that really is good. You know, the South is finding out what cold is. That's not good. But I don't know. It's just one of those things, you know. So, but I don't know. I have some seeds this year that I want to grow, and I can't wait to plant them. And I'm hoping we can go all the way around the outside of our garden this year. Um, with so
With those
many,
chili peppers.
well, with so many of these peppers, so many of these peppers, you know, because I've got like 24 different kinds of peppers, and I'm hoping we can go all the way around the garden, you know, and I want to put stakes by 'em every time there's a different section of peppers, or you know, just like the rest of the garden, put in stakes so that you know where your eggplant is, and
Yeah.
you know your zucchini, your butternut squashes, your pumpkins are, and what the heck was that other one? Um, the acorn squash. No, not the acorn squash. It's not the acorn squash. Uh,
Bananas.
the buttercup squash. That's what it is. The buttersquash. I've never had a banana squash. I've had the buttercup squash. Those are good. You get a lot of meat in them. And I've had the butternut squash. you know. But yeah, the buttercups, squash. I've been trying to grow them from seeds of other ones that I got. I kept seeds from, and for whatever reason, they only like to grow and give me a couple every year. And I'm like, hey, that's two more than
That
what I
sucks.
had when I started, so I'm a happy camper, you know. So yeah. Ooh, fairy tale pumpkin squash. Now wait a minute. You don't have to put squash on pumpkins there. We know pumpkins are related to squash, their cousins, and all that good stuff. You know, but yeah, the kaboka. It's a Japanese word for squash. Okay.
Yeah, I like eggplant. Eggplant's very good. Very versatile.
Oh yeah. Yep. But yeah, those. Yeah, I do have some squash, and like I said, I have a few peppers, and I'm gonna try eggplant this year. I don't really need to plant zucchinis this year. I still got plenty of it from last year, you know. But I like um trying different things. I'd grow corn, but I ain't figured out how to keep the doggone raccoons from getting into my corn. Yeah.
The food bandits.
Oh, that's nothing. Okay. I did get a couple ears of the popcorn off when I planted the popcorn seeds out in the garden. This is hilarious. And I had them on the front porch. I kept the old dog cage that folds up, and I had um the popcorn seeds there, and I had the butternut squash, and I had pumpkins there. Okay, and I was so proud the first year. Yeah, I was so proud of what I got. I was proud of it because that was more than what we had when we started. You know, a lot more. Okay, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching. Sitting on the front porch, sitting on the step, looking over, and I'm watching this little chipmunk going across the porch, and he, just nonchalantly walks in the holes of the on this wire cage, and he sent his little buddy over, and I seen it coming, and I was like, "Oh, you're gonna get close to me?" Yeah, right. I said, "I don't think so. You better put that ear of corn down over there." And then boom, his big buddy took off, and that little guy he looked at me and I said, "So you can go home too." And he took off. That was on the front porch of my house. So you see, I just ain't got the gopher out in the garden. But the raccoons, man, those guys, they were nasty. And because I watched the chipmunks, everybody says, oh, chipmunks are cute. They stay on the ground. No, no, they don't. No, nope. We've got a chipmunk that lives in this yard. He goes up on top of the um garage and he'll sit where the roof comes up to a point. He'll sit right on that center section, you know, and you'd think he was like a rooster 'cause he's doing his call from up there. Happy as can be, you know. I mean, it's just something else, you know. So yeah, I mean, all these things, and then you do have the young squirrels. They like to play in the trees. We like watching them guys. It's the older squirrels that go and put their walnuts out in the garden, but they don't really mess with the food, you know. And then they'll go back out. A couple days later, and they'll take that walnut out of the garden and move it someplace else. But that's okay because they're irrigating your garden for you. Just so you know, they're not there to eat your food. That's what the rabbits are for. But the rabbits will be picky too. They won't try to eat all your food. They'll get picky, you know. But that's okay because they can't eat all your stuff. You know. I mean, all these wild adventures, and it's just around my garden. So, yep,
Where all the action is.
yeah, you get a lot of action from that garden. And it's not a very big garden. I mean, it's not big enough for commercial production or anything like that. But then again, we're not a commercial production people. We're a family of four, you know, and it's okay. You know, you could be a family of one, and I'd still grow my garden, you know, because you never
Yeah.
know when it's going to come in handy. And the more food you can grow and stock up on, the more you're ahead. Because prices ain't coming down in that store. You got somebody in a certain place that don't think the prices in the store are bad at all. Hmm. But then again, Bozo and Bozolette don't go shopping either. You know, they don't have to worry about how much stuff costs because they've ripped off enough money. They don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. You know, it's just regular folk like you and me that's got to worry about how we're going to feed our
Yep.
families, where we're going to get the food from, how we're going to buy that stuff in the store. You know, I mean, pretty sad, but that's okay. So we plant our food, we grow our food, we try, we don't give up. You know, you know the old saying, a little bit of elbow grease goes a long ways. Okay, and if you can't get Muhammad to the mountain, you bring the mountain to Muhammad. Well, just look at it this way: you're planting food in your garden. Okay, now the garden's the base of your mountain for Muhammad, and as the food ripens, your mountain starts forming. Okay, well, you can't really have a bunch of food laying around piled on top of each other, so you have to start canning it, freezing it, whatever, dry, dehydrate it, right? So you can store it easier, right? That's fine, but you know what? That mountain still is there. It's just been shifted into different shapes, but it's still there, okay? You still have your mountain of food there, all right? So now when you go to the store, well, I don't need to buy that. I don't need to buy that. Guess what? You're now saving money because you ain't buying this, that. Why? Because you grill it. And you know what? That stuff you grow in your garden tastes a heck of a lot better than that stuff out in the grocery store. You know why? Because you put your time, you put your blood, your sweat, your tears into the stuff in that garden. You made a deal with God, whatever your God is. You made a deal. You rain. You make it rain, I'll plant the seeds. And you both hold up to your end of the deal. You know? Yeah, you go out, you pull your weeds. That's wonderful. But the bet, it's one of those situations where instant gratification ain't gonna happen. All right, tell you that right now. You don't put a seed in the ground and woof, there you go, pepper tree. You know, it's kind of like putting a penny in the ground and thinking that you're gonna get a Dollar Tree. Don't happen that way. Okay, the penny's the seed for the Dollar Tree. Okay, yeah. Anyhow, it ain't gonna happen. But you spend the time, the weeks, keep your garden. Keep the weeds pulled out of your garden. Unless you have a gopher, then you gotta leave some of the grass there. Why? So the gopher's got food, so he leaves your food alone. Just saying. I wouldn't
Yep.
know that from personal experience much, would I? Okay, so I would. But um you'd be surprised how much food you get when you get done, you know? And you always want to plant more than what you're gonna eat. Why? Because you have the thieves, okay? Now the thieves can be the ones that plant the weeds, throw the weeds in your garden. All right, but they're gonna want to steal some of your seeds. Okay, that could be birds, other animals. We like those seeds. They're pretty tasty. Thank you very much. You know, but they're not gonna eat all your seeds. They're gonna leave some, unless you get really good seeds. Then you're in trouble. All right. You got raccoons. They love corn. Oh boy, do they love corn. And forget your sweet corn or your corn, your popcorn. They'll take them both out. And your sunflowers, yeah, yeah, they'll take those out too. Sorry, but they will. You know, so in order to keep the critters out, you pretty much have to put a 12-foot fence up that comes back out at them. So even if they did get up that high, they wouldn't get down in. It's a 12-foot fence is what you need to keep a deer out of your garden anyhow. Trust me, that's what they use at apple orchards too, just for that to keep the deer and stuff out. Anyhow, they don't keep the snake out though, just so you know. But when you get done, all these weeks and months later, depending on what it is you're planted, depends on how fast it grows and matures and can be harvested. Depends on how fast your mountain starts growing, you know. But you end up being happy. You end up being amazed every year. And just 'cause you got a bad year, don't give up. When I say bad year, well, okay. Christy Sue, she's got none but rain. Okay? I got none but drought. Right? God's night, he got none but frozen. Oh, this is awful. This is real bad. Sunshine, she's got nothing but nice. Alright? So then you got three different possibilities. One person's gonna have a good garden. The other three, well, one of them ain't gonna get a garden. Why? 'Cause they're completely froze. But the other two, it could be a hit and miss type of deal. You don't know. You know, you don't know. But that's the whole thing about garden. Just 'cause we have a bad year this year, don't mean next year's gonna be a bad year. Or just 'cause we had a good year last year, don't mean this year's gonna be a good year. You just never know. But you don't give up. You keep trying. You keep learning. You know, there's other places that you can learn. Um, check out the channels for Shed Wars. You'll learn there. You can ask people their questions and stuff. There's other channels I know that You could get a hold of them and you could ask them. I'm pretty sure they'd answer your questions too. I don't know, you know. But you can always get a hold of people like Willet Crow, Lori's World, Homestead Aquarius. Um, let's see.
That
There are
Cajun
other.
guy, right?
Oh yeah, Cajun Hyponics, Danny boy. Uh, you can ask him. There's a lot of different channels that you know. They're all part of Shed Wars, but you could ask them. If they don't know, they'll ask. You can ask somebody else. If none of you know, guess what? It's called roll your sleeves up and figure it out together. Why? Because then everybody's learning. That's even more fun, you know. Because nobody knows everything. I mean, it's just basic common sense. And who knows? Maybe Sunshine and Whiskey knows the answer to something that I don't know. You know. But heck, I'm willing to learn. You know. Maybe I might have an answer on how to do something easier. You never know. I don't have all the answers. I just can show you and tell you, explain to you what I do that works for me. But then you guys can all wonder how the heck did she do that one? Because, doggone well, she can't even explain that one. But, yep, it's just a fun way to gather your food, grow your food, you know. Can't be attached to the internet when you're planting a garden. Sorry, newsflash, you can't. Okay? But it's okay not to be attached to the internet. Because if you're not attached to the internet all the time, guess what you're saying? You're telling them, hey, I might be in my 40s. I might be in my 30s. And I heard people talk about how they used to live back in the day. There weren't no such thing as the internet. What? How did those people function? Very carefully. We weren't sitting at the internet at a desk or a kitchen table, wherever, with a laptop or computer, whatever. No, we were outside doing things, you know? And we spent time outside. Kids played outside. The adults, well, depending on the adults, if they wanted to be outside or not, you know? I mean, it don't hurt nobody to spend time outside, you know? So, yeah. And take your kids out. Have them help out in the garden. Hi, Michael. How you doing? Mr. Sharp is in the chat room. You know, teach
Hey,
them.
Michael Sharp.
Teach them that it's okay. Some kids have a texture sensory problem. That's fine. Work with them slowly, you know, and get them used to it. Don't bully them. Don't force them. Let them do it little by little with them. Real careful, you know. Some little kids, they love getting dirty. And some little kids, they can't handle it. They just, no, they can't handle it. They can't handle that feel of dirty. But that's okay. Get him a pair of gloves, you know. Then watch him have fun in that same dirt that they couldn't handle. It was too dirty. They couldn't handle the feeling of dirty. Because with gloves on, they can't feel it. No. But they can still play in it and have fun. You know? I knew one little boy. Um, he could walk by the time spring came. And some people went and dumped a dog off in the village, and the dog was pregnant. So you had the mom, the bigger sister, the little boy in diapers. Okay? Just learning how to walk. And you had the mama dog, and it went down stair steps and their sizes too to the littlest one, all walking in a row going out to the garden. And the little boy, he had a certain area, he had a certain square that he could play in. Didn't matter. He could throw dirt up all around. It didn't matter. Why? Because as long as you see the dirt flying, you know where that little boy was, and it was fine. That boy was worshipable. You know? Imagine that. They made kids worshipful back then. And the garden turned out good. And that little boy, he liked playing in that dirt. You know? Mama didn't care. And when they'd go in, they'd go back to the house in the same order as what they went out. It was hilarious. People are like, look at that. You're like a whole doggone mother duck and the ducklings. She got a lot of ducklings there. But yeah, you know, it was all good. And it's like fishing, you know. Teach a man how to fish, he'll eat for life. You give a man a fish and he'll eat one meal. You know, it's kind of what gardening is too. Teach a person how to grow food, they'll eat for life. But you give a person a piece of food and they don't know how to save seeds, they're only going to have enough for that meal or whatever, you know? So, can't be afraid to try. Because even if you fail, you're learning. You're learning that, oops, doing it that way didn't work. Well, now I gotta rethink this and figure out how I can do it. How I can grow that food. You know? It's just that plain and simple. It's fishing. Okay. Michael's gonna show me and teach me how to fish. Alright, I got a pole. And it's got string. Okay, I tied the hook on there. Oh, come on, Mike. Can't you just can't you put that little cute worm on that hook? I ain't doing that. I can't. No, I cannot put that worm on that hook. Please, Michael. Okay, you show me. Uh huh. Uh huh. Oh, ow! Don't that hurt that worm to do that to that worm? Oh, oh, that's gross. Oh, that is gross. But okay, okay, Michael. I got that. Looks painful, Michael. But I got that worm on that hook. Okay. Now, when I take the fishing pole back, and when I go forward, do I let go of the pole or do I hang on to the pole? How do I get the string to go zing out there? Oh, I gotta remember to. Well, yeah. Haven't you ever listened to string in a pole? When you throw it, the string goes zing, and as it goes way out yonder in the pond. or wherever at the river. Boy, I listen to stuff really good, don't I? But it does. Okay, so I gotta push the button and I pull. Okay, whip the pull forward. Oh, don't let go of the pull. Okay, all right, I got it. I got it. Thank you, Michael. Okay, got it in the wire. Oh man, this is more work than what I expected. Hey, Michael, Michael, that pole's going up and down in the front. What does that mean? Well, how do I get that? That's a lot of line that goes clear out to the middle of that pole. How do I get that line in so I can get the? Oh, I got a real. Can cranking that will help that? Okay, so I'm cranking. All right. You got one of those net thingies, with the scoop, the aluminum frames or whatever, with the net on it, in case that's a small fish. I don't want to lose it. Oh, well, it might not be a big fish, but hey, at least I caught a fish. Michael taught me how to fish. So that makes it one more step closer. I at least know how to catch fish. Now I just gotta catch a bigger fish so Michael can teach me how to clean it, you know. And so I got ready for cooking. Cause I know Michael will show me how to make sure that I get the bones out of it, so I don't have to worry about them when I get a big enough one. Cause that's how kind of fun. That's a good kind of friend that Michael is. He'll teach me them important things, you know. But I done good. I got me a big fish. It was 2 inches long, but hey, it was my first fish. Don't go laughing at me. It was bigger than a minnow, and there's always tomorrow. And I'm gonna try it again later. You know? But I think we'd do better if we use corn. Then I don't have to scream, ow, ooh, like I did when I put that worm on that. Ooh, putting that worm on that hook. Just, ooh, ooh. But if you use corn, then you don't, it's just a piece of corn. Yeah, you catch fish with corn. They say you can catch fish with peanut butter too, but you know what? I'd rather keep the peanut butter for a peanut butter sandwich. At least then that goes in my belly, you know?
Yeah, you can. I use peanut butter, liver, really chicken liver, peanut butter and cornmeal.
What do you think them fishes got down there? A little kitchen where they take that chicken liver and they cook it up and then they eat it?
Well, they could have it with corn, right?
Yeah, I guess. Now, if they start eating potatoes, we're all in trouble, okay? Just saying. But
Anything oily and stinky is what fish go after.
oily and stinky. Ah, so a greasy, oily smelled shop rag would work really good because it's stinky and oily.
A what?
Shop rag, duh.
What?
Shop rag,
You
like
don't
the
want to. You
body,
don't want to poison the fish.
the rags that you wipe like your oil and stuff like that
You don't want
on.
to. You don't want to poison the fish with shop
Ah,
chemicals.
well, they're oily and stinky.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. There's a difference between poisoning your fish with industrial oils versus natural oils like fat.
Okay. Yep, I agree. But, 'cause somebody someplace was thinking that same kind of line,
Well,
you
let them.
know.
They'll
Well,
end up
no.
failing.
No, we're this way we've already removed that thought out of their head. We're teaching them. Even though we ain't got no fishing pole on us right now, it's too cold to go to the river. And no, I ain't into ice fishing. Sorry, I can't do that one. I
Yeah,
used
that's
to
something I
laugh.
wouldn't mind trying.
I
Ice
used to
fishing.
I used to laugh because I lived along the Mississippi River, and I could see it. The place that I rented was up higher than the dike. Okay, so I could see stuff that everybody else in the little normal height houses couldn't see. And it was funny because one morning I got up and there's these little huts out on the river. Oh, ice fishing must be here. Huts are there. And I watched them and I watched them and I watched them and I watched them and then I started watching the river going, gosh, I hope those guys get those huts off before they go down in the river. And they got them off just in time. And then the river thawed out. I was like, whew, they took them off the river in the middle of the dark. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, they drive their vehicles out on that river. You know, pretty thirsty. But at least Michael taught me how to fish now. So I'm getting there. You know, it's better than not knowing how to fish. You know, it's kind of like when my ex-husband was gonna take me squirrel hunting. Mind you, the man never asked me if I knew how to shoot a gun. So he had to teach me how to shoot a gun. Or so he thought. And he kind of got mad over that one too. Because he found out he didn't have to teach me nothing. Boy, did he not have to teach me nothing. Anyhow, we're going along and there's this squirrel and there's this tree. He is on one side of the tree and it wasn't a very big tree. And I'm on the other side of the tree. Squirrel was on his side of the tree and ran around to my side of the tree. And my husband says to me, are you gonna shoot it? Yep, I'm gonna shoot it. I walked right over to that tree and I went from one end straight through that squirrel and out the other. I got the squirrel. My husband got mad because he told me, you can't do that. I said, well, shows what you know. I got the squirrel, which meant we had supper. It also meant that I wasn't going to go hungry, you know. But the exciting times of how do you feed yourself? Well, you know, it was hilarious. But you have to know how to do things. You have to know how to keep quiet. You have to know how to walk in the woods without making any sounds, not breaking a stick or anything, because if you break a stick to an animal, that's a loud noise. Even though to your ears it's not. Oh yeah, to an animal's ears it's very loud. And they can tell the difference between, you know, an animal's footstep and a human's footstep real easy. So learning how to hunt is a good thing, like learning how to fish, like learning how to grow garden. You know, learning how to do things so you can function no matter what is always a good thing. I don't care who you are. You know, don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to learn. You know, Because even somebody that's really good at doing something, here's a news flash. It means that that person sat and spent time practicing, doing it over and over and over. Some place where nobody seen them doing it until they got better at it and better at it until they done it so long that it came second nature to them. Because nobody's born to do anything perfect right away. You know, it takes time and it takes patience, and you gotta learn how to do it. And just because you ran into a problem or even outright failed, don't mean you failed, because by not succeeding at it, like growing a pepper plant, it's a learning experience, okay? And you take notes, you look at your notes. Oh, well, I guess doing it this way ain't the right answer.
Yeah.
Try it again. Try it again. Try it. I don't care how many times you have to retry it. Try it. You'll figure it out. You'll get better at it. You will succeed. And you can't be afraid to try, because if that's the only way you're going to succeed, well, then nobody else is going to do it for you. You know? Anyhow, I hope this has been helpful, encouraging, and stuff. You know, you can't get down in the dumps over it. When you get down because something in the garden didn't turn out right, didn't grow at all, doggone it, pull yourself up by your bootstrap, dust your big girl's undies off or your big boy's pants off, put some more elbow grease in it, try it again. Okay, you ain't got time to mope around, because you gotta have a way to feed yourself, feed your family, you
Yeah,
know?
especially in these times, it's getting there where people are gonna have to start getting out there and growing food and finding food out if they're near some kind of wilderness or something, a forest or a foresty area. I mean, you're gonna have to go out there and start finding food and growing it.
Yeah, and not too many people are gonna want to do that either, you know?
Because a lot of them weren't even like we talked about before. They were never taught or shown how to clean their kill. I mean,
Right.
I've seen people cook fish with the guts and the scales still on. They're that green, they're that green with it. They're like, oh, I just catch it and cook it. They ask me, what am I supposed to do? And I say, you figure it out, just to see what they do.
Yeah. Well, there are, then again, you can't really come down on them because, in the movies they'll show people at the real ritzy restaurants
Yeah,
ordering fish and they got the fish heads and the fish tails on. Just saying.
yeah, but these people didn't clean it, JT. I didn't come down on them either. I said, you figure it out. That's all I said,
Right. You wanted
just to
them
see
to,
what they do, and
right. You
they
wanted to
just
see if
threw
their
it in the
common sense would kick in or not.
right because they
But
know
yeah,
they don't eat fish. You buy fish at the store. Does it have these scales on it? No. Is the skin soft and smooth? Yeah. So that means either the fish doesn't have scales or they cleaned it for you. Some have heads and tails, some don't. I like if I'm out and I get a fresh catch, I'll skewer it with the head and tail still. But it's it's clean. The guts are out and no scales.
Right.
But they just threw the whole thing on the pan like that. No, didn't clean it out. Didn't gut it. Didn't take the scales off. Nothing. And it smelled awful. And it looked awful. Then I showed them, this is how you do it. They go, oh yeah, I seen that on TV. I'm like, then why didn't you do that? Oh, because I didn't think about it. I was like, you have to think about these things. You can't
It's
just
called common sense,
yeah,
people.
you can't just throw something on the fire or cook it without making sure it's ready to cook. It's ready to prepare. It's ready to go.
Right. And see, that's another thing. Like you said, they weren't taught.
Right? They just think that the fish is already ready to be cooked, and it's like, no, you got to prepare it.
Yeah. Dad didn't go fishing. Mom went fishing at the grocery store. That's where your fish come from, kids.
Yeah.
Grocery store. You don't go down to that river and catch what? Okay. It's like crawdads. You don't go to a muddy fish hole. Find crawdads too, right? I beg to differ with you on that
Yeah, I learned how to crawd. I learned how to hunt for crawdads when I was young at a creek, and just look under rocks and stuff like that, and just grab them.
one. Yep.
I had fun doing that.
Our
And
neighbors
then
used
I
to go crawdad fishing all the time.
then I learned the cheater way from my uncle. He had a uh, it's like one of those fish traps, but he put bacon and whatnot in it, and it fills up with crawdads really quick. I was like, shit, that took the fun out of it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I
that's
know that.
something here that I've seen, many people do now. Instead of, doing it the old way, like getting into the water, lifting up rocks and searching under little, uh, not like rocks, but like cement that's been thrown into like the water, busted up cement chunks and whatnot. What people throw in the water these days. But now they use these traps. They're are fish traps. They're like baskets, and the crawfish just crawl right in there, going after the bacon because the bacon smells and it's greasy,
Oh, wow.
and it fills up quick. But I mean, I had more fun looking for them and moving stuff to find them. But I was shown down. I was like, "Whoa, okay." That took maybe like 3 hours of my time having to find them. But at the same time, it's you just sit there and wait. I mean, it's not fun.
Dang.
Yeah. So they, I mean, it's efficient, but at the same time, you're not having fun like how you remember doing it as a kid.
Right.
Just jumping in the water, getting pinched sometimes.
Oh, okay. Well, see, now I've never seen these kind of. No, I've never seen.
Yeah, they're like round gourd shaped baskets or round baskets or square, whatever shape they come in. They're little metal baskets most of the time, or they're
Okay. Back in the day, I've seen the dome-like baskets where they would double have a basket kind of thing inside of a basket kind of thing,
yeah, I've seen those too.
and they were made out of willow. Okay, and they would use them for eels. The eel would
Yeah,
go in, but it couldn't come back out. Well, these baskets, because I'm looking on Amazon right at the moment, put me in the line of that kind of theory. Okay, some of them you can have them. They have a opening at both ends, and so they could go in through two ends of it
yep.
and meet in the middle, and they can't get back out.
Yeah, some are made out of fabric.
Yeah.
That they use for nets, nylon or metal. Not so much the wood anymore.
Well, that's because the wood's gotten so expensive and not too many people weave wood.
Yeah,
You know, 'cause you had to weave them together. You know, and the one piece went inside the other piece. But not too many people know how to do those things anymore. But yeah, that's what these baskets, these things remind me of.
yep. The crawfish crawl in and they can't get back out.
Help.
And at the other end, it has a larger trap. So when you want to get them out, you flip them to the smaller the entrance. You try to get them all to the entrance, and then you open up the larger flap or trap end of it, and you just shake them out.
Yeah.
I mean, we used bacon, hot dogs, whatever was greasy and smelly,
But
and that those traps fill up quick.
dang, we might have to get one of them. Because around this area, it ain't that hard to find a creek. It ain't that hard to find a river.
Nope.
If you have a creek or a river, guess what? You got crawdads.
Yep.
Just saying. You know. But if you have crawdads and you've got some food, you know, just gotta know how to cook them then. And you're half the
Yep.
battle's free. So, you
Boil
know,
them,
you,
mash them, stick them in a stew.
oh, stew come like a cousin to gumbo. That'll work. I ain't got enough seafood around here to be able to make a gumbo.
It's okay. You can always improvise. That's the good thing about food prepping or cooking. You can always improvise.
Right.
Doesn't have to be the way it was intended.
No, that don't. Because that's how they ate back in the day.
Right? Everything was improvised.
They ate what they had, you
Exactly.
know?
That's why we got a lot of the food the way it is now because it was all improvised. It wasn't some fancy chef from France or Italy or wherever. I mean, it was just
Good old
improvised
fashioned
food.
cooked food.
Right?
The holidays came, and guess what, boys and girls? You might have gotten a wild turkey. Might not have. Might have gotten a duck or a
Yeah,
goose,
duck, a hen, whatever worked.
a pheasant. And depending on what country you lived in, depend on if, like, the pheasants were what the rich got to eat and the poor didn't. You know,
Yeah.
delicacy. Um, it is what it is, you know? If you only had chickens, well, guess what? Then that's what you had for your holiday. Or pork or beef, you know?
Yeah, or fish or whatever you could eat.
Yeah,
It was on the
fish.
table.
Even a platter, just nothing but good old fashioned crawdads, you know? At least you had food. You didn't have to worry about crepes. How am I gonna eat? You were happy with what you had. You didn't have a
Yep.
hole in your stomach. You didn't fill the hole in your tooth and the hole in your stomach up. So you went to bed happy because you got to eat, you know? And all we're saying is, gotta give it a try, you know? You need to figure out how you can still do things. How are you gonna wash your clothes? How are you gonna boil the water to do dishes? You know, that kind of stuff. How are you going to cut wood? How are you going to make stuff from wood? How are you going to get some blacksmithing done? Who do you know that can do blacksmithing? You know? Yeah, it sounds like a lot to think about, but you know what? Push comes to shove, ain't gonna be the store down the street. You're gonna either need to know how to do it, or you're gonna need to know how to get to the bigger town to get what you need. Because little towns might not have it.
Yep.
They might not even have a store anymore. You know, and here's another thing. Little bitty, bitty villages used to be a lot bigger than what they are. Okay? And even if you went to a bigger city, every so often a neighborhood had their own grocery store. Oh, why? You didn't know that? Yeah. Every so many blocks, somebody had a grocery store going in that neighborhood. And that's where everybody went and bought groceries at. They didn't walk for miles. No, they just went to a neighborhood grocery store. If they didn't like that one, well, then they'd walk a little farther to the next one. But they didn't go shopping in big stores. Didn't really have them back then, you know? And some people, they had to wait until they went to the big cities or bigger towns, what theirs was, to get the supplies. So they might have to walk it and then carry the stuff back or take the wagon. Yeah, pulled by horses or pulled by oxen. But that's how they done their grocery shopping. That's how they got supplies for that they needed to build to operate their farms. But you know what? When they went to big towns to get them supplies, whatever it was, they make it all in one trip. They didn't go every day. They might not go to town for supplies for 2, 3 months, sometimes 6 months. And then if it was bad weather, cold, rainy, freezing, you didn't leave town. You didn't leave home to go to town to get them supplies. You had to have your supplies on hand. Nothing got thrown away. There was
Nope.
no such thing as a throwaway society. And here's the news flash for you. You want things to change? Well then, stand tall, stand proud, and say no. Oh, hell no. We ain't taking it anymore. Okay? Ain't gonna be easy, but you can start doing it. Enough people do it, it can make a change. It really can. But we gotta get enough of us together.
Yep.
You know? That's why the truckers are doing what they're doing. And that's okay. Because the truckers are who it is that brings the supplies to town. So you can go to the grocery store so you can buy it. And if you live in a big city, you don't know where those chicken eggs come from. They don't come from your store. They come from a farmer out in the country who sells their eggs to the egg company. Okay? And majority of the time the chickens at the egg farms, they don't get to pick the ground. They don't get to walk outside. They don't get to pick the ground, pick the dirt, pick the rocks, eat the bugs. None of that. They don't get no sunshine because they got them caged up.
Yep.
and they keep feeding them stuff to make them pop out their eggs. So they keep laying eggs all the time. But here's newsflash: a chicken is born with so many eggs in it. All the chicken does is produces the shell around the egg. Okay? And so it lays an egg. Comes from the farm. Okay? Hamburger. Steaks. I don't give a hoot and holler what kind of steak you want. Roast. You got your beef roast. You got your pork roast. Oh, in case you don't know, beef is cow. Pork is pig. Okay? City slickers. And I mean, people in big cities that ain't never been outside of town, don't know what a farm life is or what a farm even looks like. This is where your food's coming from. A farmer out in the country. Alright? A trucker that goes out and gets it, brings it to town. Goes to the company, brings it to town. That's how it gets around. That's how you get it at your store. So if I was you, big city slickers, even the high society, snobbish elites, do yourself a favor. Walk up to a trucker and tell him, "Thank you, sir." Walk up to a farmer out in the country. Tell him, "Thank you, ma'am and sir." Because if it wasn't for them, you city slickers and you snobbish elites wouldn't have a frickin' thing to eat. Okay? So come down off of your high horse. And oh, those that like fancy ice creams, yeah, you. You know who I'm talking about? Guess what? Your fancy ice cream wouldn't exist if it wasn't for a farmer. So put that in your trollop wagon and trollop on down the road. Okay? Because a simple fact, you ain't getting no fancy anything without a farmer. Or a fancy anything without a trucker. And you ain't getting no fancy anything without the workers that make the ice cream. So, by the way, here's another news flash. Miss Fancy Ice Cream Eater. Do you know what the difference between your ice cream is and this guy's ice cream over here? And he's a poor person. Yeah, I said it. He's a poor person. Do you know what the difference between your ice cream is? It sure as hell ain't the ingredients. It's the fancy label. You're paying for your label. He's got the same ice cream. Identical ingredient. Non-stop through the whole ice cream. His is cheaper, yours is expensive. So, Miss Fancy Ice Cream Eater, you tell me, who's the fool now? Just saying. Because I don't see that poor person being such a fool after all. But hey, go ahead. Eat your fancy ice cream, you trollop-legging lady. Or anybody else. You know? Because that's exactly how the companies do it. They make the same products. This company wants so many, so they use their labels for so many. Oh, okay, got that order filled. Quick, Ralph, change the labels. Alright, got the label on. Okay, Mildred, go ahead. Alright, now we're gonna make these labels. How many? Okay. Hey, Chuck, it's time to change the labels again. Alright. You see how this goes? Yeah, so elites, all you're doing is you're not showing nothing. You're not impressing anybody. No, you're not. You can take your snobby butts, go out behind the woodshed. Somebody's out there going to paddle your butt because it's overdue and it needs to be done. And that's fine with me. And I'm going to tell you something else. Elites and fancy people. It's not the common people that started calling those certain checks stemmies. Why? Because the common people haven't been getting enough. All right? The ones that started calling them that was you. You're the ones that started calling them stemmies, not the common people. Not the common people at all. And now you're bucking over them. Why? Because you're worried you're not going to get the amounts that you don't need that you've got plans for. Well, it's time to wake up. It's time for you to get out of office. I said it. It's time for you to hit the road and not come back. And I don't care. Usually I don't say nothing about politics on here. Do I, God's night?
Nope. No one does really. None of us do.
Nope.
Try to keep it clean, safe,
Yeah, very safe. But I
user
don't
friendly.
care. I don't care. You can be for this side. You can be for that side. But you know what? You're better off to be for neither side.
Right. Correct.
Neither side. Why? Because this side and that side, they're the same sides. Same games, same players. Okay?
Just well, like what you said, different labels.
Yep.
That's all you're getting is a label.
Guess what? I wasn't born with a label. Okay? Just saying. And maybe the elites, and the fancy people are the ones that need to be labeled. Maybe they're the ones that need to be labeled dependent, degenerate. Let's see here. What's another one? Hmm. Juvenile. You know? Let's see. Because if they don't get their way, oh, hey, supposed to be paid. Well, guess what? Y'all work for the American people. Grow the hell up. And if you can't handle that fact, well, look at your age. It's starting to show. Get out of office. And take your spawns with you. Because we don't want none of you. You didn't teach your spawns how to work. You didn't teach them how to keep a job. You didn't teach them how to make money for themselves. You gave them everything. Well, guess what? Your silver platter, your silver spoons are tarnished. You forgot to learn how to clean them. Just saying. And I don't care who you are. You don't need servants. You need to learn how to do things yourself. You need to find out you're not any better than anybody else. When you put a pair of pants on, do you jump off the roof and slide down into them? Or do you sit on the side of the bed and pull them on one at a time? One leg at a time. Well, if you do, then you really are no different than anybody else. So, anyhow, on that, I think it's time for us to say au revoir,
Adios.
adios. See you
Sayonara.
tomorrow. See you again this time next week. Same channel, same place. Have a
All
good
right.
one, people.
Later,
God
everybody.
bless you.
Later, JT.
Talk to you
Thank you.
later. Goodbye.